Okay, what is up, guys? Welcome to another aftermarket trade recap. I've already tried to film this twice, and I am running short on time because I'm about to go somewhere. But I'm every time I make one of these or I try, I like have to finish it. It's like a goal of mine. So here we are. So pretty much start of the day. Well, I'll just say I took two trades. One was a break even. One was a win. Start of the day, I was bullish. I've just been bullish all week. I mean, I could show you guys, but if you look at the 4 hour time frame, you'll see why for this week. If I show it, I'll ramble too long. So, anyways, like I said, been bullish all week. I've been taking longs yesterday, the day before, whatever. So today we had 10 a.m. news. We left the data high, and we had swept down here, left a fair value up to inverse. And we also tapped into this 15 minutes. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'll try this. It's not the best setup, but it's a strong confluence because we have data highs here. And this was also going to be my break even point because even if I entered after, well, the inverse is up here, but let me just mark that out right there. The inverse is there. Even if I entered right at the inverse, it still would only been like 10 points. So not really something I can just target alone. So I just figured I would target, well, yeah, what was up here, which I'll get into in a little bit because that's part of the other trade. But just figured, okay, data high will be the break even. If it sweeps and gets stopped at break even, which is exactly what happened, no big deal. But if we surpass past the data highs, which can happen too, then we will go and hit my take profit, and boom, that's a win. So figured it was worth a take. Yeah, I took it. We did inverse way too close, so I had to wait for a little bit of a drawback. I believe, yeah, where is it? 61.25 is where I'd gotten in. So 61.25 is where I had gotten in. Still not the best entry, but it was not super close to the data high. Either way, I pretty much knew that I had strong conviction because it's data high, but I pretty much knew it would be most likely a break even. That's exactly what happened. So, but then after sweeping the data highs, we swept it, we came back down, but then what are we doing again? We're rejecting the 15 minute as well as creating an SMT in the 15 minute. Now, something I was saying in the other attempts is yes, there's been a lot of SMTs, which is something also having to do with the bullish. Like ES is taking out these highs and like these higher time frame highs, and NQ is following behind and taking them out eventually. Just it's slow, which is causing SMTs. But it's one of those weeks where unless an SMT is in a significant level like this, where we are inside a 15 minute, we reject it and we cause an SMT. Okay, that's something to actually look to use as a confluence. But something where ES is just taking a significant high, causing an SMT, and NQ isn't really moving the opposite direction, but is more so kind of like either chopping around or rebalances and then, as in like slowly rebalances and then goes up, then that's probably not something to use to look to short. So, but like I said already, this was a way better setup how we actually have a SMT inside of a 15 minute. And then what do? We leave a fair value gap to inverse, the 4 minute being the highest time frame. So let me remove this and boom, I get in there. Perfect entry too, as it's right above the close of the fair value gap. Now, on this trade, the first trade I had taken with mini or with one mini, which I have been taking along with all my other trades, it's one mini, or if I'm very confident in the position, I've also been adding two to, get that extra like 200-300 bucks while it's already in profit. So but with this trade, it's just one, I've been on a winning streak. Two, I mean, again, I already took a break even on this, and there is something about also taking another same similar setup right after you had just taken it, which not even like 20 minutes apart. So, which even though the 20 minutes doesn't, but it's just the fact that I'm retaking the same similar trade very close to the last one I took. But again, it's still a good trade. But I was like, you know what? There's no harm in risking lower, so I decided to take 5 micros on this trade. And this is the first time on this Express account that I had taken anything but a mini. And it also just had to do with the stops. 3-4 minutes, very hard for me to figure out stops because, yeah, I would like to put it at the bottom of the wick, but it's way too large of a stop placement. And I just never really trust even putting it where kind of it is now. But I was like, I don't even want to risk more than 15 points because that is my stop loss with a mini is usually been like 300 points. I say usually, but I've also even been risking lower. I've been getting really lucky with being able to place my stops on minis, only risking 150, 200, 250 bucks, while the rewards have been very worthwhile. Anyways, getting ahead of myself there, but entered in, and now we had a significant high to go break even at. Boom, that was hit. And I'll just go in right here. But yeah, a little bit of drawdown, boom, break even was hit, was able to get stops set at break even, and now the trade was pretty much on autopilot. And I forgot to mention the original target I would have loved to have been this high, but I was just, you know what, it's probably safer to go look on the here and just see, okay, there's a possibility of rejecting here with, you know, we have a long wick and this is also a high to take. So I was like, I'm just going to take it and not really worry about the extra 25 points, because 62 points risking 15, 1 to 4, can't really complain about it. So I was not really needing the extra 25 points, and trade was working out perfectly. It looked like we were fully going to hit TP right about here, as we were only 10 points away at once we had made this high here. I was like, okay, this is a good point to start really trailing. I had obviously trailed to this low, and then once we had this, I knew that this fair value gap, if we're going to continue higher, should hold. So I moved stops to right at the body low here, not just right below the fair value gap, because you know you can get wicked out. And usually if you put it below the body low, it shouldn't go much lower than there if it's going to hold. And if it does, well, then, you know, we are not going higher anymore. So move stops there, and thankfully I did that, because right away, I mean, I had, yeah, it was pretty much like within that candle, I'm pretty sure I moved my stop. We just had this major dump, which obviously would have stopped me out at break even. And thankfully, I did not catch any slippage or anything. I got stopped right where my stop was, and it was able to capture 32. It was 32.25, I believe. Yeah, it was 32.25. So still about a 1 to 2. Can't really complain. Now, I believe why this happened was something about NVIDIA news coming out. I saw something about the chips, because this came out at 10:38, which is when this happened. Something about chips for NVIDIA not being able to come into America, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that had something to do with it. If not, I'm 90%, if that didn't come out, I'm 90% sure that this TP would have been hit, as well as this in that move, because after that came out, same thing, we rejected again, and then we ended up going higher, taking out that, chopped around here for a little bit, and then rebounds, and then eventually ended up taking that out and continuing higher. So yeah, that is it for today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys when I make another trade recap. Peace.